Good morning, everyone. This morning we are in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, one of the longest-serving prime ministers in the modern era, has invited us for breakfast at his house. We're going to be talking to him shortly about leadership, about governing, how to govern and lead for so long in the modern era. And there's other things such as keeping things in the family, about the sale of citizenship, why he's against it when others are for it, and other questions. So watch out. I'm here with the Right Honourable Sir Ralph Gonsalves, Premier Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We had thank you so much for the breakfast. It was so enjoyable and so inspiring to learn so many bits of information. One that I really liked was your view on leadership. We talked about wisdom and we talked about leadership, but the leadership, I really like this one. I'd like you to just tell it again for the people watching right now. Your vision of leadership, how such an abstract thing, you can explain it more clearly.
I think that there are several points that one has to make to understand in a summary way about leadership and the role of leadership in history and in the contemporary period. First of all, men and women make history, but only to the extent that the circumstances of history permit them so to make. You do not choose the circumstances. The circumstances are there, including those inherited from the past. And some of those circumstances are ideas in your head which come from the past. Sometimes you have to, you cleanse your head of those ideas to facilitate you and assist you in your leadership in any given circumstances. But sometimes too, the very ideas from the past act as a nightmare on your brain. By saying that men and women make history only to the extent that the circumstances of history permit them so to make, that proposition does not mean, and it is not intended to mean, that the individual in history is not important. Personalities are important. Henry VIII personality was important in the Reformation. Elizabeth I in England, and I'm using Winston Churchill personality was important. Roosevelt's personality at the time of the Second World War in the United States was important. Stalin in the Soviet Union, and so on and so forth. Personalities are of importance. But your personality cannot make things happen if the circumstances do not exist. What a quality leader may do is to push you beyond the unbounded elements and may go to the body's edge and take account and take advantage of possibilities which other persons may not be able to take advantage of in quite the same way. So the personalities are important.
You said inspiring is the easy part.
Inspiring, as I pointed out to you off the camera, a leader does, among other things, two central ones. First, to inspire, that is to say, to put into the heads of people whom the leader is leading. And that's relatively easy compared to the second, more difficult one, but the more profound. That is to say, not just to put in, but to draw out of the persons whom you are leading that which is good, that which is noble, that which is of high quality. And oftentimes, to draw out of the person the goodness, the high quality, and the nobility, which the people themselves may not as yet know that they possess. And it is the leader to make sure or to facilitate their understanding that they possess these things, and that the leader would assist in the drawing out of those things. No. It's a complicated process between leader and follower, between leader and the person who is being led. You know, the Hebrew people describes it a lot in the Old Testament. You have to lend an attentive ear, and you have to apply your heart to wisdom. You have to know the difference between wisdom and knowledge, and in this age in particular, between knowledge and information. There's an abundance of information, but not so much knowledge. And there's a lot of knowledge, including knowledge by experts, but not wisdom. And I think that's important. And the conversation has to take place between ourselves who are present, with our parents and grandparents, but also with ourselves and with our daughters and our sons. And to understand that through the entire process of history, this fever of history, we are not made pure or impure. We are compromises. Doesn't mean that we have to be compromising about the fundamental things which we believe and we want to see to be achieved. But to understand that the fever of history has made us compromises. And what do we do out of the compromises which we are? What is our objective? To make a whole daughter and a whole son out of the compromises which the fever of history has made us. In that way, you consider issues such as time. We are all time. Yet only the future is ours to desecrate. The present is the past. And the past, our father's mischiefs, because the past is largely patriarchal. Our father's mischiefs. And we have to come home to ourselves out of this fever of history and to seek to make a whole daughter and a whole son. It's a fascinating process, complicated, with many internal contradictions, but part of the wisdom of the leader and the genius of the people is to understand those contradictions, the dialectics in that particular process, so that we can arrive at making a whole daughter and a whole son out of what we currently are.
So, Ralph,
God bless you, my brother.
thank you very much. I love your philosophies.
Take care.
Thank you.